Hey guys, welcome to 6 Minutes for Thursday, October 27th. Jason Fulmore, S.E. Russell, and today Fat and Scrappy and I are going to break down 3A and 2A. We obviously recorded this previous to today, so keep that in mind. In fact, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Coach Dodgens at Bruton Parker, who was kind enough to allow us to use his office to record this segment of 3A and 2A. And speaking of NAIA teams, the wrestling world turns to South Florida for South Florida and NAIA teams to kick off the season today. In fact, there aren't any D1, D2, D3, or even high school, as far as I know, that have started their seasons yet in terms of matches. And we get 3 of them today down in South Florida when St. Andrews and St. Thomas visit Kaiser. So, it's pretty cool. And I want to go ahead and just touch very briefly on the NAIA teams. And as you can see from this graphic, Life comes in preseason ranked number 2. Southeastern's number 3. Reinhardt comes in at number 13. Lindsey Wilson and Thomas More kind of round out the top 20. And then as you see at the bottom, there are a ton of Southeast teams. And we use the term loosely in terms of Southeast. We're including some Kentucky and some Arkansas in there. But NAIA in the Southeast is fantastic. Some really, really good teams, good programs. As you see, Life and Southeastern are 2 of the top 5 in the country. And we kick off the NAIA season this afternoon. If you're interested in a link to that or more information, I wrote an article that's posted on the website where there's a link to hopefully the matches this afternoon and all of that. Good luck to all of the NAIA programs as they get ready to kick off their season. And we now switch gears, go back to Georgia for the high school preseason 3A and 2A, and my conversation with Lucas DeSilva's Fat and Scrappy's Lucas DeSilva. All right. I hope you guys enjoy. See ya. Okay. All right. We are now talking 3A and 2A.
Yes, sir.
Preseason top 10, not preseason.
No, preseason, no.
And I'm going to go ahead and just very briefly, we didn't talk about this in the other 2, the 7A, 6A, or the 5A, 4A, but very briefly, Lucas comes up with 1 top 10, not a duels and not a tournament. So explain just very quickly how the matrix kind of comes together.
So in a bit brief detail, because I don't want to give away all my secrets here to people prying ears and eyes, there is a system in which I take into account individual performances, dual meet performances, and when you look at and then the way the lineup will look out, and even projected matchups and results, things of that nature, it gets plugged into a matrix. Each team can score up to 5 points in duels, 5 points in individual. That creates your 10-point scoring matrix. The way I kind of view it, if you're at 8.5 or above, that's an elite team in the region, in the Southeast. Like, these are teams that I think, if you got an 8.5 or above, I think you go out to the knockout, to the Southern Slam and compete. 7-ish and above, you are a good team in the state of Georgia, and in all likelihood will compete against any team in the state, or at least put up a good fight. Once you hit like 6.9 to that 5-ish range, these are teams that on any given Saturday they can make a really good duel and they can knock somebody off. That's the basic idea behind it, was putting actual numbers to... I don't like when people do rankings and it's just, well, this is what I think. I want there to be some sort of formative logic to the
kind of crazy. You're using lots of words there.
Listen, for those who don't know, we did these first rankings at my home. We are at my second home in beautiful Mount Vernon, Georgia.
We are.
I just got out of class only 2 hours ago, so at this point, I'm still using my $5 words. He
learned the word formative in his
about 20 minutes ago. I learned that word.
All right, so let's jump into 3A. Gilmer, Columbus, Lumpkin County, Ringgold, Franklin County, top 5, no change.
Nope.
on paper, and this is something.
A couple of points differences. I will say that Columbus and Lumpkin kind of closed the gap. A couple of points, nothing too major. Columbus obviously anchored by Tyler Secoy. The performances he had this summer really impressed me. Of course, we knew who Tyler Secoy was going into the year. He went out Elite 8, battled hard, battled Super 32, battled at the qualifier, cars category, etc. Jumped in, same thing for Lumpkin, had a couple of guys wrestle hard through cars category and some other preseason events. But Gilmer still stands atop 3A for now.
So on paper, Columbus looks like they return more points than Gilmer.
Yes.
So why is Gilmer 1 and Columbus is 2?
I need to see it. It's just a matter of I need to see it. Because when you're wrestling a team like Gilmer in a sense has this kind of... They have an aura about them, to me, similar to a Camden County, to a Woodward, that they find a way to win sometimes. That they may not have the same type of talent per se, but there have been years I've looked at Gilmer, and with all due respect to the crew there, I thought, oh, they're going to be nothing. They're going to be side meal for somebody. And they come out and get really, really impressive results.
Well, they do battle in every single time that they go and compete.
Yes.
Or like, you can always expect a Gilmer kid, even if you don't know who that kid is going to come in and wrestle for 6 minutes.
He's going to fight his tail off.
Right.
And there is something to be said for reaching the mountaintop is different than getting to the mountaintop for the first time. Gilmer has been to that mountaintop a number of times already. Columbus is yet to do that. I need to see them. There's something to be said for when you're that kind of team that has been there, done that, got the bag of chips and the T-shirt, facing a team that hasn't done it yet.
And the T-shirt.
Facing a team that hasn't done it yet, it's almost like an intangible difference. And not to say Columbus doesn't have the intangibles, there is that difference of...
Okay. I got
competitive history, for lack of a better term. So I need to see Columbus do that. Once they do that, I will eat a big piece of humble pie, and if they earn that right, they will move up above.
They'd be more than happy to serve it to you.
Oh, for sure. Oh, Mr. Sequoia already gave me a little slice of it at a Cars Category 5. He ran up on me, and his big self, I was like, uh-oh, this is one I'm not going to try. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Sequoia. Shout out to Sequoia. I love them.
All right. The bottom 5, again, no change. White County, Adairsville, Bremen, Pickens County, Morgan County. Now... Was there no change because you didn't see a whole lot from the preseason?
Just not a lot of results. A couple of guys here or there wrestling, and for the most part, I think that is your top 10 and 3. I think obviously teams outside looking in, Hart, Oconee County, Gordon Lee, a couple of point changes here or there, nothing too major. I think that's your top 10. I think that for the most part, when you hit that bottom 5, there wasn't a lot of results to really go off of, so not really a change to be made there.
All right. And 2A, Rockmart still sits up top,
yes, they do.
Right? You still as high on Rockmart as you were?
I am high on Rockmart. A couple performances, I want to say, disappointed me, but a couple performances that I expected them, a couple of their guys to wrestle a little better, fell a little short of the mark. They went down 0.2 points, still obviously in that number 1 slot by nearly 1.5 points over Fannin. A couple guys throughout the rest of that classification, Fannin, Toombs is your 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Showed some good performances. Fannin jumped a full 3 points to clear themselves of Toombs County. So just to me, at least as it currently stands, I'm still high on Rockmart. I still think they're one of the top 5-6 teams in the state of Georgia.
Regardless of class.
Yes, regardless. I just need to... I want to see them compete to the level I know they can. And even in some of their wins that some of their guys had, I was like... you should be majoring that kid. You should be ending this match early.
Okay. All right. And that's at, like, Georgia Super 32.
Yeah. It's not a diss to them. It's just, I know that they got some more in the tank. I know they do. I know they have a couple more bullets in the chamber.
Well, I think the other thing that is important to note is it is a Super 32 qualifier. It is a this. It is a that. And just like the Florida one, and just like a few of the other things, okay, the periods were a little bit shorter, right?
Yes, sir.
How much are they? How in shape are we? All these play a role that maybe has an impact on whether you major somebody or you coast to a 4-point win and don't put. And you're not competing for yourself. You're not competing for your team that now needs 6 instead of...
That is a fair point for sure.
So just keep that in mind. All right. So let's jump down. We've got Cook, model. It is model, by the way.
Model, fair enough.
All right.
Elka, Eagles Landing Christian
Yes, sir.
Academy, right? Or is that right?
Yep,
Academy?
nope, Eagles Land Christian, you're correct.
Right, Vidalia and Northeast. So again, 2A, just like 3A, no change. No change because
Not a lot of results. Just got, and not a bad thing. I will say East Jackson did jump in the outside looking in. Saw a couple of their guys that sit there to qualifier wrestle hard. They move up to a 3.6. They're on that. They're in the outside looking in now. They're a team I'll actually look at now a little bit more heavily as we get toward the season because I hear enough. I got to work out with them this summer. Saw some things I liked. Saw some growth and progression. So shout out to the Eagles of East Jackson. But as it stands, I think 2A is just about where it is.
cool. All right. So that is 3.